Boy, what a difference a week makes. Last week we were in the mid to upper 60s. I think we actually got up to 70 one day. We had some beautiful weather. The bees were very active. This week we're going to be in the teens. Maybe we might reach freezing, 32 degrees. But it's going to be a cold week. Thankfully last week, knowing that this weather was coming, I put some more fondant on the beehives because they've been so active. I'm just afraid that this cold weather is going to cause some problems. Now, I've talked to a couple people who have said that, you know, they've lost more hives in March than any other month, and I can see why. With the bees being as active as they have been in this really warm weather that we've had, and then we get this cold snap. They've used all their stores. They're starting to maybe brood up. It's probably a little early for that, but you don't know. The weather's been so warm. Now I can see how people could lose their hives in March. Yeah, it's windy and cold today. So today I'm going to set up a camera. Turkey season's about a month and a half away. I know that the birds roost really close to here, and they use this as a strut zone. And we had 4 toms come walking right by the house yesterday, right from this area. So I'm going to set up a camera and hopefully catch these birds in here strutting. We'll see. I've got this stealth cam cell camera, and it'll send the pictures right to my phone. But then we're going to go back up to the shop and I'll show you a new beehive that I just made. It's pretty cool. So after I bought this camera last year and was going through so many batteries, I decided to get a solar charger. We haven't had to replace the batteries in this camera since. It has a little charge indicator, and we are at full charge. So I'm going to hook this up. To the camera, point it toward the sun, and we'll be good to go. Let's turn it on. You gotta love these cell cameras. Okay, hopefully we'll have some turkeys come by, or some deer. Haven't had any issues with the solar charger being charged, even through long periods of low light, cloud cover. It stays charged all the time. So hopefully we'll get some pictures of some turkeys strutting in this little strut zone right here. So we're going to walk up, check the hives out, and then I'll show you that new hive that I built. Kind of excited about it. So this area right here, right where we got the camera pointed, is a pinch point. We've got this gully right here, and kind of like a brushy hillside. It creates this pinch point for things to come through. We've got all sorts of pictures of animals coming through here. Bear, we had a bear visit last year, bobcat, deer, turkeys, fox, coyotes. They all come through this little spot right here. So obviously no bees flying today. Like I said, it's 30 degrees, cold, windy. Last week they were pulling in all sorts of pollen. I'm not sure where they're getting it from. And you can see that the red maples are starting to bud. The apple trees, their buds were swelling. But this week we're going to get into some really cold temperatures for this time of year. It's going to be in the teens. I think on Wednesday we're going to have a low of 15 degrees, which isn't a good thing. Like I said, thankfully we put some fondant on our hives last week, knowing that we're coming into this cold spell. The apple trees were actually starting to swell their buds. Hopefully it doesn't get as cold as they say it's going to. One of the other things I did this week was do some frost seeding of clover. With this cold snap coming on, was a perfect time to do it, knowing that we were going to get into these really cold temperatures. We get some frost heaving and it sucks that seed right down into the ground. I think one of the issues you can have if you frost seed really early, like in February, and then we get into a long stretch of warm weather like we did, and you can see that things are starting to green up, things are starting to swell, buds are swelling. But if you frost seeded way too early and that seed starts to germinate and then we get into these cold temperatures, you've lost it all. So this year, thankfully, I procrastinated, which worked in my favor. So we got some frost seeding done this week, and hopefully it'll all work out. Clover seed is relatively cheap, fairly easy to grow. You maintain it a little bit, keep it mowed. The deer like it. It'll last you 3, 4, 5 years. Looking for some turkey tracks. June berries are ready to blossom here, and I think that this week's cold weather is gonna knock them back pretty hard, which is too bad. The bees like these. I crushed this thumb 3 years ago, and it doesn't like to be cold. I'm not sure what the issues are with a crushed finger, but it hurts when it gets cold, and I got a toe that's the same way. My injuries are catching up to me. All right, let's head up. I gotta get some clothes on. So as you can see, my apple trees, the buds are just starting to pop. Hopefully they're not open far enough for this cold weather to freeze them. We'll have to see. So this pear tree that I grafted, the buds are already starting to open. Yeah, it's probably not a good thing. It's probably not a good thing. So we're back here at the shop. So this is my long Langstroth Hive. I built it using Fred Dunn's From the Way to Bee YouTube channel. He has a website that has the plans, and I just printed them out. It's mostly made out of 2x material with some 1x6s for the cap. So we got a little porch roof and an entrance reducer. So we're either going to split one of our hives or catch a swarm in one of our swarm boxes. Most likely we're going to have to end up splitting one of our hives because their populations seem to be very high. But that's yet to be seen. So we'll have bees in here one way or another. But it's a pretty cool hive. I like how you can fill it from one side to the other instead of having to stack boxes, take boxes off to check your hives. So I got some foundation in here that's got some extra wax on it. And then I just got some smaller foundation that the bees actually started to work last year. And it smells like bees. So I'm putting it in there. Hopefully some of that bee smell will permeate this box. I do like the idea that you can take off your covering boards and just work with a few frames at a time instead of exposing all the bees and getting them pissed off, because I have a tendency to do that. I have a tendency to piss off my bees. Actually, they're pretty good bees. I do got to get some frame and foundation to put in here. These are all just my honey super frames and foundation that I need to put in my honey supers when I need them, but I'm just storing them in here because of that smell. Also, when you close this up, if you got any bees in your top lid, you can pull the plug out and you got your little bee escape hole. So they can escape out there and Then you can just plug it up later. So anyway, we'll get this out this spring. We'll see how it works. We'll get some bees in it. It'll be interesting to see how this works compared to the Langstroth box hives. All right, thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Yeah, it's cold out. See ya.